Welcome to Old People's Stories. Today we will tell you about the Leonard Cohen, so please subscribe our channel. Let's go to start the video. In the quiet streets of Montreal, a young Leonard Cohen grew up surrounded by books, music, and the subtle rhythms of life. Born into a family steeped in culture and community, he learned early that words have power, that they can soothe, provoke, and illuminate the human heart. Even as a child, Leonard was a listener, a watcher, someone attuned to the hidden layers of the world around him. He wandered the streets, notebook in hand, capturing fleeting moments of beauty, sadness, or humor. In these early years, he discovered a truth that would guide him for the rest of his life, that the human experience is both fragile and profound, and that art is the bridge between souls. He was a solitary child at times, yet not lonely. He found solace in poetry, in the cadence of language, in the voices of those who had come before him. The music of his upbringing, the folk songs, the hymns, the voices of the streets seeped into his consciousness. Every melody, every phrase became a thread in the fabric of his future art. School was not always easy, but Leonard's mind moved differently. He observed more than he spoke, reflected more than he reacted. Teachers noticed his quiet intensity, the depth behind his eyes, the way he could see what others could not. It was during these formative years that Leonard began to understand his calling, not just to write, but to speak to the heart, to reach across distance and difference with honesty, vulnerability, and grace. And yet, even as his talent grew, he remained grounded. Family, community, and the small, ordinary moments of life shaped him as much as books or music. He learned that beauty often exists in quiet corners, that love and loss can coexist, and that the search for meaning is a lifelong journey. By the time he left his childhood home, Leonard Cohen carried with him a vision of words and music intertwined, of life observed with both melancholy and tenderness, and of a voice that would someday resonate across the world.
As Leonard Cohen entered adulthood, the world began to notice the quiet intensity that had always defined him. His voice first emerged not through music, but through poetry and prose. In dimly lit cafes and the hushed corridors of literary circles, his words struck deep, intimate, raw, and hauntingly beautiful. His early collections, Let Us Compare Mythologies and The Spicebox of Earth, revealed a young man wrestling with love, longing, and the mysteries of existence. He wrote of desire and despair, of beauty and pain, capturing the contradictions of life with a clarity that seemed beyond his years. People listened, sometimes in awe, sometimes in quiet contemplation, sensing a rare honesty that few dared to express. Montreal's streets, New York's bustling neighborhoods, and Paris's artistic cafes became stages for Leonard's exploration. He was not content to observe life from a distance. He wanted to inhabit it fully, to feel every nuance, to transform experience into art. His notebooks overflowed with lyrics and sketches, fragments of songs and meditations that would later become timeless music. But the path was never easy. Rejection, solitude, and the struggle to find his voice were constant companions. Yet he embraced them as teachers. He often reflected that suffering sharpens perception, that the shadows in life make the light all the more luminous. Through this lens, he cultivated not bitterness, but empathy, not despair, but depth. It was in the early 1960s that Leonard began setting his poetry to music, his voice low and resonant, carrying the weight of every observation, every heartbreak, every fleeting moment of transcendence. Songs like Suzanne and Sisters of Mercy carried a gentle power, quiet, intimate, and unforgettable. The world began to see him not just as a poet, but as a musician whose art could stir souls, awaken longing, and speak to the universal human experience. Even as fame began to follow, Leonard remained introspective. He resisted the trappings of celebrity, choosing instead the path of reflection and creation. His life became a delicate balance of public presence and private solitude, a dance between connection and retreat, between engagement and contemplation. By the end of this chapter, Leonard Cohen had emerged as a voice unlike any other, a poet of longing, a musician of the human spirit, and an artist whose journey was just beginning, yet already hinted at the profound legacy he would leave behind.
Behind the quiet authority of Leonard Cohen's voice lay a life marked by struggle, doubt, and deep introspection. Fame did not shield him from the shadows, rather, it illuminated them. In the spotlight, he remained profoundly private, wrestling with loneliness, heartbreak, and the ever-present search for meaning. Relationships came and went, love was often fleeting, and personal demons whispered in the silence of hotel rooms and studio apartments. Yet Leonard did not run from these trials. He transformed them. Pain became poetry, solitude became meditation, and loss became music that resonated across the world. He traveled extensively, yet often retreated into long periods of reflection. At times, he sought the quiet sanctuaries of monasteries, with the remote stillness of nature, immersing himself in contemplation. These years of introspection were not escapes, but crucibles, shaping a depth of empathy and spiritual insight that few artists achieve. The music he produced during these periods bore the imprint of struggle. Albums like Songs from a Room and Songs of Love and Hate were raw, intimate, and hauntingly human. Listeners sensed a man who had walked through the darkness and emerged with clarity, someone unafraid to confront the contradictions of the heart. Even as he faced personal and professional challenges, faltering health, moments of creative doubt, the pressures of touring, Leonard remained devoted to his craft. He believed that art is forged in the tension between longing and acceptance, that beauty arises not despite suffering, but often because of it. And yet, for all the shadows, Leonard Cohen cultivated moments of luminous grace, humor, quiet joy, and small acts of kindness punctuated his life. He understood that sorrow and joy are intertwined, that the human spirit is resilient, and that true wisdom comes from embracing both the light and the darkness. Through these struggles, Leonard's art became a bridge, connecting hearts across continents, generations, and languages. His music and poetry spoke not only of personal pain, but of universal longing, of the search for love, meaning, and transcendence in a fleeting world. By the end of this chapter, it was clear. Leonard Cohen's journey was never about comfort or ease. It was about courage, honesty, and the relentless pursuit of truth, a pursuit that would define his life and echo through every song, every poem, every quiet note of reflection.
Leonard Cohen's work was more than music and poetry. It was a meditation on the human condition. Every lyric, every verse, every note carried the weight of reflection, the subtle truths of life, and the quiet wisdom he had gathered through decades of observation and experience. He often spoke not in speeches, but in his art. Love and longing, doubt and faith, joy and sorrow, all were explored with honesty and reverence. He believed that vulnerability is strength, that to confront one's own darkness is to find light, and that art has the power to connect people across distance, time, and culture. Cohen's creativity was deeply intertwined with his spiritual practice. He spent years in Buddhist monasteries, embraced meditation, and explored the philosophies of both the East and the West. Yet his approach was never dogmatic. He sought practical wisdom, a way to live meaningfully, to face mortality with grace, and to hold beauty and sorrow side by side. His lyrics became lessons in subtlety. A line like, "There is a crack in everything, that's how the light gets in," was not just poetry, but a philosophy of life. Imperfection, he taught, is not to be feared. Pain, he showed, is to be honored. Love, in all its complexities, is the truest form of human connection. Cohen also mentored younger artists and writers, not through formal instruction, but by example. He embodied patience, discipline, and deep respect for the craft. He reminded others that art requires not just talent, but devotion, curiosity, and the courage to explore one's own depths without fear. Even in moments of public acclaim, Leonard remained humble. He never allowed applause or accolades to define him. Instead, he measured success by the resonance of his work in the hearts of others, the quiet impact of a song or poem that offered comfort, provoked thought, or sparked a fleeting revelation. In every performance, whether in a grand concert hall or a small studio, he carried a sense of sacredness. Each note, each word, was delivered with intention, as if reminding the audience that life itself is a song, fragile, fleeting, but profoundly beautiful. By the end of this chapter, it was clear that Leonard Cohen was not just a musician or a poet. He was a philosopher of the heart, a teacher of the invisible, and a witness to the depths of human experience. His art became a map for navigating life's contradictions, a gentle guide for anyone seeking meaning in an uncertain world. As Leonard Cohen entered the later chapters of his life, something remarkable emerged. A serenity that carried the weight of decades, tempered by experience and illuminated by reflection. Time had deepened his voice, his presence, and his understanding of the world. Age did not diminish him, it refined him. He continued to perform, write, and engage with audiences worldwide, often traveling despite the toll it took on his body. Each concert became a communion, a shared exploration of sorrow, joy, and the fragile beauty of existence. Even in his 80s, his voice resonated with the same quiet power, enriched with wisdom, experience, and compassion. In these years, Leonard reflected more openly on mortality, love, and the human journey. He often spoke of impermanence, not with fear, but with acceptance. "There is a time for everything," he would say, "and everything has its own music." His art, like his life, became a meditation on endings and beginnings, on holding grief and hope together. He also embraced solitude more fully, retreating to quiet spaces to write, meditate, and observe life in its simplest forms. These periods were not withdrawals, but essential acts of renewal,
allowing him to approach his work with clarity, depth, and compassion. Family, friends, and collaborators saw in him a man who carried both humility and dignity. He joked, smiled, and shared stories, but always with an undertone of gravity, a recognition that life is fleeting and sacred. Every interaction was infused with awareness, every gesture deliberate yet gentle. Even as the world faced turbulence and uncertainty, Leonard Cohen remained a steady presence, a reminder that art, reflection, and empathy endure beyond fame or circumstance. His music and poetry inspired new generations, bridging cultural and generational divides, offering solace and guidance to those seeking meaning, connection, or hope. By the end of this chapter, Leonard Cohen had become more than an artist. He was a witness, a philosopher, a guide. His legacy was not merely the songs or poems he left behind, but the enduring reminder that beauty, love, and wisdom are cultivated through patience, reflection, and courage.
In the final chapter of his life, Leonard Cohen became a figure not just of music and poetry, but of quiet spiritual guidance. His presence carried the weight of a lifetime of reflection, struggle, and creative devotion, a testament to the enduring power of art and human insight. He often spoke of love as the ultimate teacher, of imperfection as the doorway to grace, and of solitude as a path to understanding. Even as he approached the end of his life, he emphasized that true meaning is found not in accolades or possessions, but in honesty, connection, and the courage to face life fully. Leonard's final works carried an unmistakable serenity. Songs like You Wanted Darker reflected a man embracing mortality with clarity and acceptance, transforming the inevitability of death into art that comforts, challenges, and transcends. Through his words and melodies, he offered the world a reminder to live deeply, to love fully, and to meet the unknown with dignity. His influence extended far beyond the stage or page. Generations of artists, musicians, and writers drew inspiration from his devotion to craft, his fearless honesty, and his commitment to exploring the deepest corners of the human heart. He taught that creativity is not merely expression, but a bridge to understanding, a way to connect souls across time and space. Even in his absence, Leonard Cohen's voice continues to resonate. It lives in the pauses between notes, in the quiet reflection of a poem, in the whispered acknowledgement of life's fleeting beauty. His legacy is not simply a collection of works, but a blueprint for approaching life with courage, depth, and compassion. As the final curtain fell, the world saw a man who had walked with grace through solitude, suffering, love, and joy. A man who understood that the ultimate song is the one we live, every moment, with integrity and heart. Leonard Cohen's life reminds us, art, wisdom, and love endure beyond mortality. And in every note, every line, every quiet reflection, we find his eternal presence.